We are back on Comic Book Canon. Yes, that move I just did. I have to say, Joe taught me. He taught me well. And he is my sensei, and I'm going to bring him in right now. Sensei, did you like that cold open?
That was a great cold open. I'm really proud of you. You used your public speaking voice, energy, focus, enthusiasm, and I really think you're leveling up your game, and I appreciate you as a student.
Thank you, Sensei. I appreciate you as well. Eagles win. We're very happy about that. Phillies won.
Go Birds!
Go Birds! We're just a town of winners. We are winners. You and I. Chris is a winner. Chris won't be with us on the show tonight, but he's a winner. The audience are a bunch of winners. I am out of it. I had a really long week at work. This is one of our biggest weeks of the year, and I was at Javits Center actually, hoping that Comic-Con was happening at the same time, but no, that was not the case at all. So it's going to be happening next week. We'll have more to talk about that. But how are you, my good friend, partner in crime, and co-host of the show? I got to give that.
I'm good. I had a very, very busy weekend. The regular Friday night claim sale. Saturday, myself as well as the Pope of Chillytown took a drive that we do a couple times a year from Philadelphia to Connecticut to attend a 3 Men in a Basement event. This was the comic book crawl. And had a great time, as always, hanging out with members of the comic book community and, of course, doing what we all love, hunting for comic books. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the On the Hunt segment. And, it was a good time.
Yeah, I'm glad to know that you had a great weekend. I've been just trying to recuperate. So, again, if I'm a little low on the energy scale or something you're not used to me with, please just let me know in the chat, and I'll try and pick it up a little bit. Just want to say, we are back. We had AI create our thumbnail tonight, and pretty happy about that. Why don't we just do this? As I get back into the flow of things, by the way, props to Delaware. Am I right? Anyways. Come on, man. It's a Philadelphia area. Easy now.
It's the gosh darn first state.
You got that right. Home of tax-free shopping. And if you guys haven't ever had a credit card in your life, I'm sure it says Delaware on there. Wilmington, to be specific. Anyways, we're going to say hello to all you fine people in a hot second. But before we do, we're going to get to some stuff because we got some stuff happening on the stuff. Wow, I just heard myself.
That was my phone. That was my phone, not you actually talking.
I'm not mad at you, though. I'm not mad at you. So why don't we just get into it? Let's get the news. Joe, let's do the news. Get the news. Let's do the news.
I'm doing the news. I'm doing the news here on Comic Book Canon. We're doing the news. We're doing the news. We're doing it right about now. All right, first news story of the day involves a little bit of the first family of Marvel, the Fantastic Four. Director Matt Shakman has expressed his determination to stay true to Fantastic Four's original May 2025. So we're not talking this coming May, obviously, but a year and a half from now, May 2025 release date. And with the deal in place, ending the writer's strike and a compromise that seems to be on the horizon from the actors as well. We've heard that. Shakman has stated that casting announcements are on their way. Obviously, they're not going to do that until the actors can participate in interviews and so on and so forth. But it seems like things were probably locked up beforehand, and they're just waiting to make that announcement. And production will hit the ground running as soon as possible. There was also a new rumor just this week. It's kind of a rehash of an old rumor. But it seems that, at least as far as this rumor is concerned, that Michael Cera will be stepping into a major role in the movie. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be the villain. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be a member of the Fantastic Four. Personally, what I'm hoping is, fingers crossed, because I grew up on this, I want Michael Cera to be voicing Herbie the Robot. I think that would be great. What do you think, audience? What do you think, Jeff?
Michael Cera, I mean, Mr. Fantastic for sure. No. Reed Richards, no. I don't know what he would be, actually. There's no way they would cast him as Dr. Doom. Herbie the Robot would be awesome. You know they're going to put an Easter egg if not have the actual character in the film. Dude,
Yeah.
I really have no idea who he would be. I would love to hear what everybody thinks in I would love to hear what everybody thinks in the chat here. What you think Michael Cera could be cast as, but I swear I have no idea. I like him. He's fun. He plays the same character in every movie he's in. But so does Sam Jackson. Let's be honest. So does Sam Jackson. And he's had a great run in the MCU. I really don't know, but time will tell. I'm psyched about this. 2025 still seems very far away to me, but if you think about it, 2024 is 3 months away. 2.5 months away. Jesus. So it really is not that far. But again, looking forward to all of the announcements that are going to happen once this strike gets over with the Actors Guild, and we're going to have some fun times. I really think that fun times are ahead because it's been slow for the news. Speaking of, though, we have another little news nugget. What do you got?
Yeah, this one we're hopping over to the other side of the table, to the DC side. Top dog James Gunn has shared his plans to keep several actors in the same role in the future rebooted DC universe that came from, the DCEU, which is currently wrapping up. We get that one more movie, Aquaman, at the end of the year. In addition to I almost said Michael Cera instead of John Cena. That's hilarious. In addition to John Cena as Peacemaker, Freddie Stroma as Vigilante, and the flawless Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, all of whom Gunn has worked with directly on his projects. He also named Blue Beetle star, and I apologize if I pronounced this wrong. I think it's Sholo Maradueva. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Maraduena? Maraduena.
Yeah, there we go. As someone who else will be sticking around, obviously Blue Beetle, just came out. If you saw it, I've seen mixed reviews, but the character's a cool character. The design is a cool design, and I'm happy that character's sticking around. Do you think we're going to continue to see more actors, being kept on board, or do you think everything from here is going to be a reboot?
Are you asking me or the audience?
I'm asking both you and the audience because I value your opinion, but I value their opinion more.
I do think that I think it's going to be a reboot. I think what he stated is that the same actor can play the same character they played in the past. However, it's a completely different universe. So with a different history and all of that. So what happened in the past doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be happening in this new iteration of the DCU, which is really going to confuse a lot of people. I mean, they've dug themselves this hole. They got to dig themselves out, which James Gunn has gotten himself into. I'm sure he understands the challenge that's ahead. But that's how he's gonna explain it. That's how I feel. Would love to know what people think in the chat as well. But we're gonna move on to the next news piece first before we do.
Yeah, this last news piece is less of a news piece itself and more about upcoming news because, we're going to be getting a lot probably in the next week. But New York ComicCon is less than a week away and the buzz is growing. The first day of the show is this Thursday. It's a big show, long 4-day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday show. And as always, there are a slew of panels and announcements coming from all corners of comics and pop culture, not just the films and, the MCU and the DC stuff, but also, comic book publishers. I know that there's going to be some pretty exciting announcements, some that I have heard already. So definitely keep an eye out for those because some of them are pretty exciting. But yeah, get ready because next week we will certainly have a lot more to discuss with the news after whatever we hear, whatever is revealed, so on and so forth at the New York ComicCon. And please don't forget, if you're going to attend the event or watch live streams from the event, please say no to FOMO because, I don't think you really need those 237 foil con exclusive variants. I would say that there's one you have to pick up. Which
foil
one's that?
variant of Mark Leneker. Absolutely have to pick that up. Not sure what the price point is on that, but that is one I'm going to be on the hunt for. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Mark,
Are you going, Jeff?
If we can confirm that Mark Leneker has a foil variant, I will be there for sure.
I have not made my decision yet. I still may go. I have been really busy. You know, we traveled recently to Connecticut, Baltimore ComicCon, gone to Jersey a bunch. I've got another Super Jersey Comic Expo coming up at the end of this month. So I haven't 100% decided. I'd really like to go. I'd like to do a day trip either Friday or Sunday. But again, I have not made my firm decision. But if I am, I'm going to post it on Instagram. So look out for that and come say hi. Come hang out at New York ComicCon if you're there one of the days that I'm there.
I'm thinking in my head the options. I have my daughter this weekend, so would it be a good idea to bring a 7-year-old? Probably for a little bit. However, it's a hike for me to get down to the city with my daughter. It's by myself, much easier, but I'll have to think that over. She would enjoy it for a good amount of time, but it may be a little bit inundating.
I heard that if you drop her off at a church or a fire hall, they have free babysitting services.
Okay, good to know. I'm going to actually consider that as well. That's another factor that I have to. That's probably going to weigh in a yes decision.
Take it into account. Yeah.
Oh, Josh, we'd have to ask Chet. Hopefully, he will be there with a tight outfit. What kind of tight outfit are you looking for? I don't. No, Chet really doesn't change his shirt much, does he?
And I think he's talking about an Adam Hughes or a J. Scott Campbell variant.
Yeah, definitely. We need to see that. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. I will say this. Chet is in an exotic location now that we'll find out for his new comic book picks of the week. Stay tuned for that. As Joe and I get eased back into it this week, it's going to be a little bit of a lighter show, I would have to say. I do want to say that Chris, he has family obligations tonight. So he will not be attending the show, but we love him just as much. It's neither here nor there. We all miss a show every once in a while. Yeah. So with that being said, and I'm getting hit up, guys, on the old Apple Watch here.
Oh wow, Mr. Popular over here.
I am blowing up right now.
I don't believe you because in the past 10 minutes I have not messaged you at all, and I just can't possibly believe that anyone else goes out of their way on the weekend to hit you up. No offense.
It is a 3-day weekend too, though, by the way.
Oh yeah, and Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's in the States. If you're not in the States, you're not celebrating. No big deal, no big whoop. But anyways, why don't we do this? Because Joe, I feel so unprepared right now. However, you did something very cool this weekend. By the way, that ends the news. Let's just get a clear-cut segue. News is over. Moving on to the next thing right here, which is a new segment that we do every week.
No, it's not. Stop. You are disrespecting our community by not saying hello to every single person in the chat. What is wrong with you?
I told you, man,
every week. This is our 157th episode.
Mm-hmm.
Every single week we say hi after the news. What is going on? Did the Eagles win? Get to
the Eagles won. You are scolding me like a child, which is fine. I deserve it because our audience is everything to us.
Because I am sensei.
You are the sensei. So why don't we just, get into it? Because Josh is just booing me, but Josh is Comics 01. We love you. Paul Bond is in the house. D&T Comics and Collectibles. We got Nukes Comics. Dr. Plagueis. We'll get into Dr. Plagueis' comment in a hot second. Mike Hags. 77. What's good, everyone? Maybe that's Trev, or maybe he's fist bumping Trev. I don't know. And again, as we know, Mark Leneker with his foil variant. Maybe he is the foil variant behind the I don't know. Watching us tonight, we got Goonish Lurker. Hey, everybody. Common Cap Collectibles. Yes. P. Keel. No, we weren't on time.
Almost.
Who else do we got? Who else do we got? We got a good amount of fun people. 360 in the comics. 360 in the comics, I said. Jordan Nori. We have a fun family thing with Jordan Nori tonight too. I just want to say.
Ooh.
By the way, let us know if you guys feel this way, because I mean it's like flattering, but like Dr. Plague, is anyone else go into a deep depression last week when there was no show? I even missed Chet. Whoa. That's good to know. 17 million people are watching. Yes, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't seen us before. Pete Keel, why do you want me to give you the phone number? I mean, I will, sure, if you want to chat. I don't know. You can hit me up on the Instagrams too. I'm available there. But just, yeah, let me know. Maybe he's trying to trick me. Is this doxing?
Is this doxing?
I mean, let me know if it is, because I want no part of that. All right, Joe. I'm going to apologize to the audience again. I apologize profusely for not acknowledging you. All right, moving on. We do this new fun segment each week. I'm going to let actually Joe introduce it, because it was actually Joe who submitted. Nobody else submitted for this fine, fun segment we call. Joe, give me an epic. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
On the hunt, on the hunt, on the hunt, on the hunt, on the hunt.
Yo.
Did you like that? Was that good?
Yes. We got it on tape.
In my head, now, you obviously couldn't tell this because you don't hear what's in my head, even though I assume you all do. In my head, I was hearing like jungle beat bongo music in the background, and like maybe like a rain stick pouring. Like I was like getting into it there.
By the way, the intent here is to put our faces on this poster. We literally created an AI. But we have just been too busy. So yeah, we're obviously, it's an Indiana Jones inspired poster, but it's on the hunt. Joe, I don't know if you want to tease this thing that we're going to roll soon, but go for it.
Yeah. So basically, for those of you who do not know, you should know, and I'm going to tell you about it now. 3 Men in a Basement, awesome members of the comic book community. Otto, Roger, formerly Dave. I don't know if he's involved too much anymore, but Chinmo, all their friends.
Also want to mention they're alumnus. They're guest co-host alumnus.
Right. So. Otto and Roger, right? Yep. We're on. Yeah. So great guys. They're up in the Connecticut area, about 3.5 hours from me in the Philadelphia area. And they have a YouTube channel. They do live streams on Instagram. They do stuff on YouTube. They also set up at conventions. They have tables there, Terrificon and stuff like that, and King Con. But they also host their own events. And there's like 2 major ones a year. There's the 3 Men in a Basement comic book swap, which is I think the name might change to comic book show, because it's less of a swap and more of like a full-blown convention at this point. Very, very fun community-based event. I go up there as a seller every year. They also have something called the comic book crawl, and they have this a couple times a year. And it is like a bar crawl where you go from comic book store to comic book store. And the best part is they clear it with the owners of the comic book shops beforehand, and we get some special treatments, whether it is a discount of some sort. This year, one of the stores gave away like a gift bag. And sometimes we're allowed to go places and see things that normal customers of the comic book store are not allowed to see, go in the basement of a store, so on and so forth. We have a really good time. It's an all-day thing. We get dinner afterwards, and it is so worth the 4 hours of sleep and multiple hours of driving coming from the Philadelphia area. Anyway, I was there over the weekend. We did the comic book crawl, and I've got a little on the hunt video of myself with Otto from 3 Men in the Basement, and doing a little bit of hunting, pulling out some books, and let's let it speak for itself.
Let's check it out.
What's up, everybody? Joe here from 360 Comics with Otto from 3 Men in the Basement.
How you doing?
We are at Brick House in Meriden, Connecticut. This is the first stop of the 3 Men in the Basement comic book crawl, and we are on the hunt. This is always the first stop of the comic book crawl whenever 3 Men in the Basement do it. Look at that. Great book for just $4 with an awesome Power Girl cover. And yeah, $4, not $8. It is all half price for us today. There's a Golden Age book for $30. That's Atlas Comics, pre-Marvel, awesome stuff. There was just a little bit of everything all mixed together, even slabs And there were some really, really good deals to be had. I thought about a bunch of these, but I ended up settling on getting one of them. You're going to see it in just a second. It's this right here, 1951, Golden Age DC, Strange Adventures, number 10, second appearance of Captain Comet.
That's well done on the hunt right there. That's how it's done, everybody. We had one 2 weeks ago. I can't remember who sent it in, but it was absolute perfection. I think it was
Dr. Plagueis.
Dr. Plagueis. Yeah, that's right. Absolute perfection. Like, that was the first on the hunt we ever showed on air. Dr. Plagueis, you set the template. Joe, you did an excellent job there. I'm not sure if you have that book near you, but that's a great pickup right there.
It's downstairs. But yeah, really, really cool book. And just want to remind everyone, please send them to us. You can send them on Instagram to Comic Book Canon. You can send it to me, and I'll send it to Jeff, or whatever we want to do. Just please keep it under 1 minute, and please do not use copyrighted music. Either you can use some free music online, or just no music at all. You don't necessarily even have to narrate like I did, or do any editing like I did. It could just be a video clip of you going through a box at your local comic shop, at a yard sale, at a flea market, at a convention. We just want to see you on the hunt. Doesn't matter where or when. Just keep it under a minute and show us what you got.
And again, this is a DM type of a thing. It's not a hashtag we're going to be searching for.
Right.
So
send it to us.
Yeah, keep that in mind. By the way, I just want to say, first of all, let's say what's up to Phil Ailing. Hello, how are you? And Dan, the man, De La Torre. Look, we'll do it again. Oh, speaking of which, he's a black belt anyway, so
am I. No longer practicing.
Shirt. You're wearing a black shirt.
Oh, yeah. So my belt is black, too.
Today?
I'm not wearing a belt right now.
Too much information. All right, moving on. And we got Angry Otter Comics in the house. You crazy cool kids. We are crazy cool kids. Appreciate that greatly. All right. So what we're going to do now, if y'all have any questions for Joe, we're going to do an Ask Joe segment. But before we do that, we mentioned, by the way, throw your Ask Joes in the... Let's... Phil Ailing, yes.
Fly, eagles, fly
on the road to victory. All right, we'll stop. So get your Ask Joe questions ready. That's right. Hashtag Ask Joe CBC. You can ask them right here in the chat.
Put it in the chat.
Before we get into that segment, I got two things going on. That's one. And then two, we love you, Nukes. We do. But not as a Cowboys fan. And two, as we said at the top of the show, Chet is in an exotic location. Mm-hmm. He really just wanted time to spend there on his own, but he did send us his picks of the week, so check him out.
Yo, everyone, it's your boy Chet G-Pot, the one and only comic book influencer you will ever need to know. As usual, I'm giving you my top 3 picks for New Comic Book Day, this time from the Great Wall of China. Let's get this moving. First off, Amazing Spider-Man number 35. I'm getting this book because I love a good train wreck. Spider-Man's turning into a goblin. What the hell? I can't wait to see how this goes down. And even if it's terrible, at least I'll laugh at it. Next, Green Lantern number 4. First appearance of Sinestro's son. Whoop-dee-doo. I'm sure he's a real peach, just like his dad. But if you're into that sort of thing, then by all means, check out Green Lantern number 4. I'm just going to get it to complain about it later. Finally, Midlife, or How to Hero at 50 number 1. Seriously, that's the title. A middle-aged guy gets superpowers. How original. I'm sure this book will be full of cliches and stereotypes, but if you're looking for something to read while you're waiting in line at the DMV, then I guess you could give it a try. I'm just getting it because I'm a sucker for nostalgia. So there you have it. My top 3 picks for New Comic Book Day. I hope you enjoyed my recommendations, but don't say I didn't warn you. These books could be terrible. Chet out.
Yo, I gotta say, first of all, it's pretty funny. I don't know where he got the DMV thing or for nostalgia purposes, but I'm interested in the Spider-Man, is it Amazing Spider-Man 35? I've been reading the series on and off on Marvel Unlimited. but really fascinates me the path that he's going down. I do need to say this is going to start a 24 issue arc for Amazing Spider-Man. So
whole year.
It won't be resolved for 2 years apparently. So
isn't it a twice a month book right now?
Well, then if it's twice a month, there you go. It's going to be a year.
Yeah.
Okay, not as horrible as I thought. I didn't realize it's a twice a month book.
I might be wrong about that, honestly.
Either way, it's a long ass arc. Okay,
Yeah.
let's just say that long ass arc. And I am definitely interested in the last one he said. I cannot remember the name. Nuke verified it is twice a month. Midlife. That sounds fascinating as well too. So I'm going to look to pick those up. Let us know what you guys are picking up in the chat. What you're psyched about this week as well, because again, it's for you too, right? This segment's for you too. We want to know we don't want to know what our AI correspondent thinks all the time. We want to know what you guys think. Now, as we said, it's time for the segment called I haven't done this in a while. Okay, ready?
Ready? Do it.
Ask Joe. God, that's water ones.
Woo!
Get some water. Get some water.
Oh, that just woo.
Some water. That was very good though. You gave it. I could tell you gave it your all, and I could tell. All right, we have our first question here from good friend of the show, Josh's Comics 01. Joe, why are some second, third, act? I think he means etc. Prints worth more than first? Sorry, Josh, I called you out. I am so sorry. Why are they more than first prints? By the way, Raw Dog, hello. First off, second off, don't do that. You're missing the whole experience. It's part of the show. We don't even charge you extra for that. Joe, please.
Continue. Yeah, this is a good question because a lot of people have questions about, second or third prints. A lot of people have their opinions about second or third prints and I only get first prints, or I always seek out those second, third prints. The value of a comic is completely driven by supply and demand, just like most things. So obviously demand can be influenced by how good a cover is, who the cover artist is, something being significant about the cover, like maybe it has a character, whose first appearance it was in the book. They might be on the cover of the second print, but not the cover of the first print, so on and so forth, like things like that. Those things are all going to influence demand. As far as supply, that's just print run. That's just print run and availability. And often those second and third print runs are, at this point in time, less than the first print run. Typically, the first print run is much more. Second, third print runs are less. That's not always the case. Take into account the first appearance of Cable, New Mutants number 87. Now, I don't have the print run numbers for that book for the first and second printing, but I'll tell you, I find second printings all day long. First printings, I come by them. It's a early 90s book. It's not, or maybe 89, might be 89, 90. Copper Age book, either way. Not a very hard book to find, but I find way more of the second printings, and therefore I have to think that the print run of the second printing of that was much more. Look at a book, the New 52 run is a good example. Most of the books in New 52, the second printing, they have that red background, are much more scarce than that first printing. Almost every book has that second printing. And I know a lot of people that collect the second print runs of those because they look really cool. They have that red background and they are more scarce. So it's going to be scarcity, or rather just the availability, the supply, as well as the demand usually based upon the cover and who the cover artist is, what the variant is, so on and so forth. So it's an amalgamation of things. You kind of got to work with it and figure it out. But if you gave me specific examples of a book, I could probably tell you why one is worth a lot more than the other.
I do.
Thanks, Josh.
tell me if you're wrong, if you agree with this or not. I do think that sometimes a lot of these publishers decide on a second, third, fourth, fifth print later in the game. And FOC, it's you barely hear about it, or if at all, and you miss out. Not many people order it. That's why it becomes more scarce, I would say, less of a print run, especially those later prints. So that's another thing to consider as well. Keep on the lookout of those things if you want to collect those, because those announcements aren't really amplified as much because they're falling on deaf ears. People are like, oh, great, another print of this or that, so yeah.
Yeah, and certainly there are books that are FOMO books, like Comic Journey just mentioned. There are certainly books that get a ton of hype and can really fall flat. But in the grand scheme of things, we're talking about, mostly, at least I'm talking about, older comics. I'm not talking about the stuff that is in FOMO action, having just been released in the last month, year, whatever. The ones that I mentioned were a book from the Copper Age and a book from more than 10 years ago, and they're when all is said and done, most people are going to want the first print more.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost always going to be more of a demand for the first print, and supply is going to come into effect. But that's all I got to say about that.
But you look at a book. Well, I guess it's Noel's first cover appearance was Venom #3. What's that? The third print?
Yeah, I forget which one he was on the cover of. Second.
Yeah, so that's actually a different example of what.
Sure.
It just depends on the book and things like that. Right. I think this is a question from I don't recognize this name, Niner Fox Trot. I do like the name, by the way. So if this is your first time hanging out with us or first time doing an Ask Joe, welcome. Also, just to remind you all, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Niner Fox Trot, Joe, this is great. I love this question, by the way. Before Instagram claim sales, how did you get the hobby to fund it itself?
It didn't fund itself. No, quite honestly, it was a hobby, from as a child when I was buying comic books, using my allowance money or my birthday money or asking my parents for stuff. It certainly wasn't funding itself then. And when I got back into it in my late teens, early 20s during college, just took some extra money from my paycheck, whatever, and used that for comics. And when I got back into it a couple years ago, after I had sold off almost everything, initially it was just to collect, and I would sell some things, here and there, go sell some stuff to a comic book store and use that money to, buy some other stuff, maybe get store credit. But it wasn't really until I started selling on Instagram and started selling on doing conventions and stuff like that, which was really about 2 years ago. That was actually, as of this month, my first Instagram sale was October of 2021, as was my first actual convention. I had done a couple like flea markets and stuff before that. So yeah, I didn't fund my hobby before those things, but now I certainly do, and I own books that I never thought I would own. Pretty cool.
That's the fun about it. And again, you guys can all do this as well. It takes a lot of work. Joe loves it. Let's just say that to start. You love doing these types of things. Otherwise, you wouldn't be as far as you are in terms of knowing how to find that collection or being able to buy these bigger books for your personal collection. However, you put in a ton of work. It is literally treated as a second job. But it pays off for you because you grind. But I'm telling you, from talking to you on a weekly basis, multiple times a week, it's incredible the amount of effort and work you put into it. So you got to have that too, if that's something you're looking to do in terms of funding your own hobby. We're going to move on to the next question. Good friend of the show, Dr. Plagueis. As someone who's very involved in the community, what tips might you have for me as I'm trying to build and bring together my local community? That's a great question.
Yeah, this is really key, especially in this day and age when so much is done on social media and stuff like that. Dr. Plagueis, I would recommend talking to one of your local shops and see if they would be interested in hosting a comic swap event. Not all stores want to do this because a lot of times they kind of see it as like, oh, people are going to trade comics instead of purchasing from us. And, you know, if they don't want to be a part of that, they don't want to be a part of that. But in my opinion, I think it is a really fantastic thing to do for the community. And it really builds that local community, which I think can really help comic stores. But that's enough of my 2 cents on that. A comic book swap is a really cool way for people to get together, like-minded people that are interested in this hobby, to get together in person, meet each other, maybe throw back a couple of beers or sodas or whatever, eat some pizza, and talk about comic books, possibly trade comic books, possibly sell comic books between each other. There's one store in my area that had a couple of these events over the last few years, and I attended all of them just because I thought it was a great way to kind of build the community. Since then, I started doing Back Deck Comic Fest, which has been a similar event. It is a local comic book community event. And yeah, people come and trade stuff in all the time. You know, every Back Deck Comic Fest, someone brings stuff either that they don't want anymore and want to, you know, just get rid of and sell, or trade for books that they do want. So yeah, I mean, I think kind of a swap, a little meetup like that is a great way to start because it's very simple and you can kind of grow it from there. So if you want to eventually turn it into, you know, renting out a fire hall or a VFW and having a small comic show, you can kind of grow it to that, depending on, you know, what you're feeling.
That's, again, all great recommendations. I will say this, like, the hub of a community should be a local comic book shop. And if you have a great comic book shop, which I'm lucky enough I do, Joe, I know you do as well.
Yeah.
People would be open to having any types of events, type of, it doesn't have, you know, so just think about it in that way, that this could be your hub. And that's how you can grow the community even further, get to know other people that may, because also every comic book shop has their own characters. Like every comic book shop could probably have their own kind of reality show. So just keep that in mind when you get to know your local comic book shop. And this is a great segue right here for Nukes Comics question. Ask Joe CBC if he can open a comic shop. What would you call it, and what would set it apart from other shops?
So Nukes, great question, and you know, trust me, I've thought about it many times over the years, especially as of late. But I honestly, I'd probably just call it 360 Comics. You know, I already utilize that name online, and most comic stores, they're, you know, they don't have like a separate Instagram account. They use their store name, even if they're, you know, if they sell on Instagram or whatnot. I think it would just make sense to use that. And what would set it apart? I mean,
look at that mug. First of all, the face, right? The face. Yeah, it's
no, not that. I would try to run it like I do, you know, my comic business at this point, and, you know, just try to keep up with prices when they go down. A lot of vendors, a lot of stores have had a problem recently that they're not making as many sales, and it's not because people aren't buying comics now, because I can assure you people are still buying comics. It's that their prices don't reflect the market. You know, they keep them high. So, you know, I try to keep things at or below market. And, you know, if I were to open a store, I'd definitely at least try to do that. You know, you have an overhead, you have a little bit more expenses, so, you know, the deals wouldn't be as plentiful, but you know, try to keep it that way. And also, you know, as we were just talking about, community events, I think they're really beneficial, really important. A lot of stores, they have free comic book day. And that's kind of it for comics. They might have like Magic the Gathering tournaments. They might have board game nights, whatever it may be, which are all great things, but something more comic related on a regular basis. Not even necessarily like weekly or monthly, but maybe 4 times a year, you know, in addition to free comic book day, just adding more events like that for members of the community.
Yeah, Angry Otter, that would be amazing. A Blockbuster, Toys R Us, comic megastore is the dream. I'd be there all the time. That would be a lot of overhead though as well. If it's, you know, we're talking Toys R Us size, whoo, that would be fun though. All right, we're gonna close out Ask Joe, but again, you guys can ask Joe by using the hashtag. Hold on. Any day of the week, any time of day. Any time of day, hashtag AskJoeCBC. Give us a shout on the Instagrams with that. But again, you guys, we don't charge you extra for this, but we're going to close it out in the way we do each and every week almost, but we don't do it every week. But here we go. Ask Joe. Wow, that was killer right there. We are crushing it.
Dude, we should start a rock and roll band.
You know what? Who says we haven't talked about that?
Ooh. Next time you're over, I got a drum set in my basement. I got a guitar amp in my basement.
We're going to do it.
We'll do a little hoo-ha.
We got to lay down some tracks, actually, for this show, because there's a few songs. Again, you came up with a song earlier.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, though.
I don't even remember what it was for. I am fried. I am absolutely fried.
It wasn't like it's canon time, something like that.
Yeah. We don't want to give the hook away because somebody's going to steal that and make a hit song out of it. But anyways, doesn't mean we don't love you all, but we know you guys are gritty SOBs looking for an opportunity to just screw us over at any moment. That's not true. God, what is wrong with me today? I'm so sorry, people. All right, here we go. Last segment of the show. Told you to be a lighter show. I'm not forgetting anything, am I?
We did Chet. We did Ask Joe. We did On the Hunt. We don't have Chris here for
props or flops. Keep sending those props or flops in, people.
Please do.
Let's just give a shout to props or flops, shall we? Why don't we do that right now, real quick? Props or flops. We're not starting the segment. We're just reminding you, upload any comic to Instagram that you have an interest of for investment purposes. That's right. Use the hashtag props or flops, but be sure to tag us in the picture, not in the description. In the picture. It's in the description. We will not see it. Tell us why this book interests you. Tell us how much you paid for it. Chris will break it down live on the show. So don't forget to send in your props or flops via the Instagrams. That's right. And just for shits and giggles, why not just have a Ron Perlman middle finger?
For some reason, we have this graphic saved from before I was on the show. That's
yeah, and we never use it, but it just was appropriate because honestly, it's better than this.
Oh my god! Corporate headshot
of headshots. We love this. Look at this kid right here. He's gonna be one for our company. Anyways, that's my Carvel ice cream voiceover right there. I'm again fried. I apologize, but I'm not that sorry. But we're gonna do a segment here that we do each and every week, and I just can't remember the name. Joe, just kick it off, please. Wiki.
This segment is entitled Fresh from the Comic Shop.
Fly from the pressing salon. That's right. We ask you each and every week to send in your fresh gets, and you never disappoint. Fresh get could be 2 days old. It could be 20 years old. As long as it's fresh in your collection, we want to see it. And just because it is sponsored by, this segment is sponsored by EGS Comics and Spider Dude Comics, you could win a slab each month. Winners each month also move on to the grand finale of 2023 to win a huge slab, which we have not announced yet. We got to figure that one out. But that's right. This is sponsored by EGS Comics because you guys get a slab from EGS and a book donated by Spider Dude Comics. The book of the month for September was this gorgeous. Oh no! Shit. This gorgeous September Extreme Venomverse. Nobody saw that. September Extreme Venomverse number 2 by Peach Momoko. Well, we have a winner to announce. And the winner is oh shit.
Suspenseful.
There it is. Right here. We got Danny and Tessa with the Transformers over Goonish Lurker. It was a battle well fought. Those were going up and down, those numbers right there. And yeah, congratulations, Danny and Tessa. Goonish Lurker, you are an amazing member of the community. I don't doubt for a minute that you will be back in a finals. We will see soon. I guarantee we'll see it soon. So there you have it right there. Congratulations. That book has been given away. And now the anticlimactic drum roll, because I screwed this one up. October book of the month. Look at this one. It is Berserker. It is a foil variant. It is a 9.8 with that custom label. As you can see, again, we could not get a great image here for this book. It is foil. So it's really hard to take a picture or scan a picture, which is what Tony does with EGS. But again, Spider Dude Comics has given the book and EGS Comics has given the slab. And look at that beautiful gradient. Custom slab right there with Berserker on the top. You can see him on the top at the right, close to the label right there, 9.8, as I said before. So that's what we'll be giving away this month, this October. One to use is going to be making it into the semifinals, the first semifinals in October. So this is exciting stuff. And before we move on any further, let's talk a little bit about EGS Comics. Save 5% using the code Canon5. Optional custom labels, as you saw right there with that beautiful Berserker custom label, the gradient, the red and the black, gorgeous. Free grader notes and fast turnaround times. EGSComicsGrading.com. You must follow them on Instagram as well. And YouTube links are down below. We have a link down below also for Spider Dude Comics. Are you ready to get into this, Joseph?
I was born ready.
I'm not really ready because I know we're gonna have to decide on this, and I love when guests decide on this. By the way, we will have some guests, some amazing guests this month.
Yeah,
we are in the process of booking for you wonderful people. We will not charge you extra. That's a fact. First up, we got Nukes Comics. I really like this cover right here. Fresh from the comic shop. Miles Morales, Spider-Man #4. This is the Alex Ross timeless variant featuring Scorpion. Someone knows too much about Miles and those he cares for the most. Who is the rabble and what are her motivations? I picked this up from DBS. Good stuff indeed. Alex Ross, I mean, come on, Joe, right? Look at his facial expression too. It's just, I love this cover. Love it.
He's a sick one.
He absolutely is. He is the Scorpion. Next up, we have Mike Hags 77. I'm rocking with this new Black Panther. Chris Allen, Stormbreakers variant. T'Challa, definitely a beast. Check. Skeleton monsters, terrifying. Check. Monsters asking T'Challa, what are you waiting for? Check. And definitely spooky AF. We all know what that means. Check. So many tags, so little time. Yo, great looking cover right there. Great looking creepy cover. Kind of, what this month is about in terms of Halloween, which you love. Wait, did you see Saw 10?
Oh, yeah, I saw Saw 10.
By the way, Joe worked his way up by revisiting all the Saws before he saw him and Shelby, his wife, saw 10. Real quick, 3 words. Let us know what you thought.
Different, because it is quite different than a lot of the Saw movies. Deep. I would say it's like deeper than a lot of the Saw movies, and throwback, I will say, because it falls on the timeline a lot very early in the Saw storyline. Okay.
Well done. I guess you're entertained. Yes, Pope of Chili Town, a.k.a. Mike, we love you, and he's giving me crap because I said T'Challa instead of T'Challa. I got you. My bad. Moving on. Actually, Joseph, why don't you show us your first fresh get of the week?
Okay, so I bought some collections this week, and I went to the swap. So I got one thing from the swap. I got one thing from one collection. I got one thing from the other. Let's go with what I got. Picked up just today, actually, from a collection. This was just great. I had someone, local buyer, come to my house to pick something up today, and he was like, "Hey, can I bring some stuff that I want to let go?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, of course, man."
People fall out of the sky and literally offer you comic books. That's
exactly. This was one of the books. This is the book that I am most excited about. I'm just gonna show it. This is Nintendo Comics System number, not number. It's actually a 00. It's not a number. It's basically an issue 0. It says number NN or not numbered. Very freaking cool. Sneak peek. Valiant comic Nintendo book from 1990. Very early in that Valiant Nintendo era. This is the first ever comic book appearance of Link and Zelda.
This is a big deal. This book. It's a really, like, again, hard to find book. It's Valiant when they first broke into the scene with Nintendo licensing Nintendo. It's really kind of a winner, you know?
Yeah, and it's an 8.0. Like for this book, 8.0 is just great. Like it's great.
Yeah. Wait, where'd you find that one again?
This was in a collection that I purchased today.
Oh, okay. Were you? You don't see those every day, and you see a ton of collections.
This is the first time I've ever owned this, and honestly, this might be the first time I've ever seen this book in person.
Wow, that's a big deal. Again,
I'm really torn because this really should be a PC book for me.
Yeah.
So I gotta make a decision.
Right there, it shows how rare that book is you've never seen it in person.
I don't think I have. Maybe I might have seen it at a convention, but I've certainly never come across it in like a collection. I certainly have never seen it at like an LCS or anything like that. But
that's a big deal.
A hard to find book.
When I get a chance, I want to look to see what the fair market value is on that bad boy. But
it's $500 for an 8.0.
Still great pickup right there. Very happy you got that. Very happy for you. I'm very happy about this submission right here. This guy's already won before, but this is a great. Josh is he's just getting outside his box here. Right here.
Yeah.
Look at this beautiful presentation right here. Speaking of, we'll get to it in a second. Darth Vader number 5, volume 3. Darth Vader series has some incredible covers. One of my favorites is this beautiful split between Anakin and Darth Vader. Cover art by Inyuk Lee. Finding this new mint copy for only $1 was definitely worth it. Here's my submission for Fresh from the Comic Shop. Yeah, guys, I think this is an underrated cover right here. It is just outstanding. It's one of my favorite covers in this run. So I'm glad you found that for $1. It's definitely worth more than that. It's on a lot of people's lists. So good work, Josh. Now we didn't talk about the criteria and what we look for. We're going to do that right now, right this moment. I know, man. Off my game. 3 pieces of criteria we look for in Fresh from the Comic Shop. First is give us a well-composed shot. Think outside the box. Think artistic. Have fun with it. Have the comic book relate to the overall photo as we see from Josh's comics. Hold with the hand gestures for a second, Joe. As you can see, we all know what the lava has to do with Anakin and Darth Vader, don't we? Don't want to spoil that. But
he loves lava cakes from
I'm sorry, what's
Pizza Hut. Because he loves lava cakes from Pizza Hut.
Joe, I told you not to spoil this.
Oh no.
Not to spoil this. So a well-composed shot. Again, think outside the box. Have fun with it. Just don't put it on your bed sheet, your dirty, crusty bed sheets, which we've seen before. You know who you are. We don't want to see that anymore. Have fun with this. Have fun with this. Next up, we're going to have Nukes just say it, actually. Uniqueness. Give us a unique book, right? Unique doesn't mean I always go to $30,000.
$30,000.
Right? Unique can be something that is special to you that you only own in the whole entire world, which is a possibility with those sketch covers. It's an absolute possibility. Mark Leneker brings us unique books that we've never seen or heard of before as well. Give us something unique. That goes a long way too. And as Nuke says here, yeah, pull at our heartstrings. Tell us what this book means to you. Is it a special story? Does it harken back to the time when you were just a young comic book collector, naive to the world, and you pulled it off the rack and you opened it up and it just blew your mind and got you on the track to start collecting comic books, but you lost that book. You lost it because you slept over at Stevie's place and you left your backpack there and Stevie moved out of that neighborhood and you never saw him again. But you saved all that money when you were an adult to get that book back, and it's back in your collection. And you are happy. I just made that story up. You can make a better story up, I'm sure. But to pull at our heartstrings, whatever story it is, we definitely want that. I think Dr. Plagueis feels attacked because I'm just yelling, and there's no need. No need.
Inappropriate behavior.
Yeah. One of my favorite submissions I ever did. Seriously, Josh, that is a fantastic submission. Really well done. And yes, Dr. Plagueis, no, I'm still exhausted. I'm still fried, but I'm giving it my all for you. Not you personally, just you in general, the audience. Moving on. Speaking of Dr. Plagueis, check this out. Dr. Plagueis, this week's submission for Comic Book Canon's Fresh from the Comic Shop is this crispy fresh pickup from one of my favorite online sellers, Spider Dude Comics. I am grateful for the communities that both Comic Book Canon and Spider Dude have built and welcomed me into. It has inspired me to work towards building the comic book community here in my city. By the way, what city do you live in, Dr. Plagueis? Let us know. I've helped and participated in my first very successful collectibles and comic book show, second tomorrow, and I'm helping my local comic shop inventory. There are over 200,000 books in stores to get priced and in the hands of local collectors, and hopefully soon nationwide. I'll tell you what, you're well on your way, Dr. Plagueis, to building some sort of a community in your area. Just curious as to where you live, where in the world you live. So Hop Country, Yakima, Washington. Excellent. Again, we are here to help you build your community in any way you want. CBC is really a form of talk therapy for Jeff. Let's face it. Nail on head, or head on nail, or what on the nose. I think I'm getting so punchy right now that I'm tired, so that you see the best part of me. I guess it's my turn for Fresh from the Comic Shop. Nothing really that interesting, especially not from my last haul, which you all saw. Some pretty amazing books there. But still, got some cool books. The Mandalorian, number 4. Look at that nice little cover right there. We all remember what happened in that scene. He has to break them out of prison, blah, blah, blah. But again, yeah, I'm opening it up for the first time because I haven't done it. Anyways, yeah, that's my first fresh get of the week. Fun stuff. Moving on, we got E. Marvell. What do we got, E. Marvell, from you? Here we go. This noir Batman book is awesome, and an awesome intro of new characters that might shock you into buying 2 to 4 copies after you read the first issue. Most are not talking about this book because just like The White Knight presents by Sean Gordon Murphy and Katana Collins, it's darker and more of a Batman story than what's being produced in regular continuity since James LaForce run on the character. A strong 10 out of 10 grab for this book. Get it before you can. I've heard about this one, by the way. I haven't heard a review like that. That's a huge endorsement. So I'm actually kind of interested in picking it up. I don't know what about you, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I've only heard good things about it. I currently have limited my new books that I pick up to just Spider-Man and Red Goblin right now. Only books that I'm picking up. Yeah, I really cut down because I'm so far behind on reading. Dude, so
same here. Yeah. I was actually walking out of the comic book shop today. I'm thinking I need to pare my small list down as it is because I can't. Like literally, top of my list is Void Rivals. I read that book as soon as I can. And then my last book from my Fresh from the Comic Shop, I'm going to start as well because I'm really excited about it. But I hear you. I just have had no time. I have a stack of books that I don't think I'll ever read. But yeah. Anyways, and yes, Goonish Lurker, it was a very cool shot taken. Again, the perspective here, by the way, from E. Marvell, very well done. That's what we got to think about. Joseph, your second fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right, so this is my favorite book. I came home from the 3-minute basement crawl with actually the least amount of books, like individual books, that I ever have from a crawl, but it was a mighty bunch. It was just like about a short box worth of books. And in the past, I've come home with
a short box, a full short box.
Mostly full, I would say. Mostly full short box. I mean, there was a slab in there, so that kind of took up space because you got to angle it. But yeah, I mean, I in the past have come home with 3 long boxes worth of stuff from the crawl.
Wow, okay.
But again, I focus more on quality this time just because I have a lot of inventory quantity wise. So this is one of the books, and man, I got to make a decision on this one too. Just like that Nintendo book. This is one that I want to keep PC. I got to decide. If I want to keep this PC or continue the hunt for a higher grade one. This is Weird Mysteries number 6. And Golden Age pre-code horror. You all know that's one of my main things. This has a decapitated head cover, one of the staple key significances of the pre-code horror era. Very, very cool book. In fact, there was just a record-breaking sale at Heritage. A 6.5 sold for, I think it was like $4,800. I got this. It's low grade, way lower than a 6.5, which sold. I got this for $150, $175 though.
Half off, right?
This was not. This was the half off was 170. Well, the discount, it wasn't quite half off, but the discount of this book, I paid 175 is what I'm saying.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, very, very awesome cover. Can't go wrong with pre-code horror. If it doesn't, if I decide to sell it and it doesn't sell, good. Then I just get to keep it in my PC.
It's destiny. It is absolute destiny. There you go. But it's again, that really falls into kind of your niche right there, your genre, the one that you love the most. So I'm happy you got that, to be honest. TBH. That's what the kids say. Nice. TBH.
True.
TBH. Moving on though, we got Into Oblivion right here with this nice 9.8 CBCS. X-Force number 11 from 1992. White pages. It is a key because it's the first appearance of the real Domino, Nina Thurman. First appearance of Weapon Prime, Weapon X, Richter Yeti, and Tiger Strike. And it's got, look at the Layfield feet. It's got Layfield feet. So again, y'all know what that means. But I love, honestly, man, I don't hate on Layfield. There are, well, except for that Captain America one, which he obviously, the news is out now that he's done his own homage of Sam Wilson Captain America. That will be a New York ComicCon exclusive. But I don't really hate on Layfield. It brings me back to a time, to be honest with you.
So I'm gonna pause fresh on the comic shop for a second and ask you this question. Did you see what he recently wrote on in a Facebook comment?
Okay, I'm gonna let me just say something real quick. I'm meant to say I don't hate on the art because I kind of grew up with it, and it definitely left an impression. I was always excited to see what was released from him and those stories and things like that. The person, I don't know him personally. I've heard and read things that he does, so please continue.
He said on Facebook, "There is no way that Jim Lee draws Wolverine better than I do."
That's okay. That's subjective, but in my
opinion, but not really
inaccurate. That's absolutely inaccurate. Jim Lee, I was always more excited to see what artwork he was putting out.
Honestly, a lot of the hate from him, especially in the past like 5 or so years, doesn't come from his art. It comes more from how he behaves.
Yeah.
And he did a lot for comics. I'm not trying to take away, the Youngblood was the first ever Image comic ever. Youngblood number 1. And at this point, Image Comics is one of the big 3. It's not even an indie publisher anymore. It's one of the big 3, and it's all creator owned. And that is great for the industry, great for the creators. And I'm not discounting what he did, but he's just an interesting individual.
Yeah, definitely. And kudos to what they all did. They took a big risk and made it happen. They were the hottest things going, and they made the right move. But anyways, I get it. I'm just hearkening back to a previous time in my life, so I apologize if I offended you or anybody. I'm just kidding.
It's okay. Liefeld already blocked me on Instagram, so.
Oh yeah, actually, Mike, aka Popa Chili Town's a little bit worried about you as well. I was right. And Jim, he doesn't mince words, right? His art sucks and he's a jerk. He did claim that he created Deadpool, but it was Fabian Nicieza, I think.
They both did.
So wow, everybody hating on Layfield. I'm just being honest with you guys. Again, it brings me back to a special time in my life related to comic books.
Oh, here's Reborn in the house. What's up, man?
Moving on though, we have who do we have? Marvel Man 616, the sweet Transformers book right here. The Transformers 21 featuring the first appearance of the aerial bots. I can't remember if those are the Autobot aerial vehicles. I think they are. But man, I do miss Transformers. I really love me some Transformers. I saw Beast Wars. I think you're not into Transformers. I know that, but I think I mentioned that in an earlier episode. I kind of enjoyed it. It was fun. Not as good as Bumblebee, but it was okay. My second fresh get of the week. I'm just going to go here. This is another run that I am not caught up on at all. We talked about this, though. Darth Vader has some sweet covers. So I got 38. This is under the Dark Droids event, right? After, what was the event? Something Bounty Hunters. That one really fell flat for me.
War of the Bounty Hunters.
Yeah, it was really not that good. But look at this cover. Ooh, wow. So that's 30,
one Dark Droid.
39. Yeah, issue 39. So yeah, I count those as two. So those two as one is what I just did. What I said. I don't know. Anyways, I'm struggling. Moving on though. Who do we have? Son of Comics. Yo, this is one again. I've mentioned to all y'all that and you, Joe, that Green Lantern is probably my favorite DC character. And this one I do like quite a bit. I have not read it though. I love the cover. I do want to get into Far Sector. I want to learn about her.
Oh,
wow. But Far Sector number 5, the Warren Wow cover. OMG, this is one badass, spelled B-A-D-A-Z-Z, badass cover from Warren Lau. This is a gem. I'm so happy to have this in my collection. Do not let this beautiful book pass you by if you can find it. I am definitely interested in this run right here. So I would like to start reading that as well.
It's a cool one.
Nori Jordan. Listen, it's a family affair. Just remember I said that, by the way. Just remember I said that. Nori Jordan. This was a really great week for books. My local comic shop owner said, got some CGC books in if you want to take a look. I figured, why not? Hoping there could be some Thunderbolts or Daredevil in there. Somehow, for reasons I cannot explain, I left with a Strange Academy number 1, CGC 9.8. I've heard it's a great series. It is, by the way. It definitely is. So maybe it's time to broaden my horizons. I also was able to get Daredevil number 2 and 25 back into my collection, which has Agent Cole's first appearance and Elektra's debut as the new Daredevil. Finally, Loki 4 was a must with an appearance of the greatest character ever, Bullseye. Take care, everyone, and be ready for some Thunderbolts heat next week. It's going to be books he's already probably submitted before. By the way, what the hell, man? We haven't even talked about Loki.
Oh, we didn't talk about. I forgot that premiered this week, and I watched it 3 times already.
Again, this has been a hectic.
Next week we'll put Loki as part of the news.
Maybe we'll talk. Hey, Chris will be on. He'll definitely have opinions.
Yeah. Also, overall, I just want to say to everyone out there, obviously no spoilers here or next week.
Yeah, please.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
but go watch it. I loved it. The first scenes of the show to me felt the same feeling as when you put on Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
I like how you explain that, by the way. I really do. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Loved it. I love the tone. We'll get into it next week, though, for sure. Moving on, though, we have, who do we have? We have Joe with your third fresh get of the week.
Sure, why not?
Let's just do it.
Yeah, so I bought a collection. This was a great opportunity that I had. I had long time coming. I'm going to tell a quick story right here. Like about a month ago, a guy who I know who lives actually in my neighborhood, who is also a comic book collector, does a little bit of selling as well. He hit me up and he's like, "Hey, a friend of mine inherited some comics. I'm going to help them sell them. Would you like to be involved?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. If they want to just sell all of it, I'll buy all of it." And he was like, "Nah, they want to piece it off." And I was like, "Okay, I understand. I'll help. And if I can buy some stuff too, that would be awesome. They could just pay me in some comics." Fast forward, I actually never really went over to help. Just didn't really line up ever. But fortunately, before they did their yard sale, which was actually this morning, they let me go over on Friday, talk with the people who own the comics, and buy a bunch. And I ended up buying a lot. I spent several $1,000s and bought a lot of stuff, including a ton of Golden Age, but not quite the top tier Golden Age. Not the superheroes, not the horror, not even the crime stuff. It was a couple crime books, almost entirely Golden Age romance books. There was also a little bit of war, a little bit of cartoon stuff. This one stuck out to me as the coolest one that I've found so far. I haven't really gone through it. It's not a, I know a lot about Golden Age when it comes to superheroes and horror, but not about the other genres. But this is a 1944 DC first issue, and issue number 1. This is Buzzy number 1 from 1944. George Storm artwork and cover and everything. Written by who is it? Alvin Schwartz, who was a Batman and Superman writer during the golden age of DC. But yeah, I mean, look at that. It's a number 1 DC
so
number
cool.
1. And I mean, look at the condition of this book that is from 1944.
Freaking great.
Yeah. On the back, I guess whoever sold this to the person who collected it, it says F plus, so fine plus. This honestly to me looks nicer than fine plus, probably even in like the lower side of very fine.
That's fantastic, man. That's 80
Yeah.
years old. We're talking Jesus.
Yeah, 1944. It'll be 80 next year. Very, very cool. I got to go through this stuff. I definitely want to keep stuff for myself, for my personal collection, and also it's gonna be cool to like educate myself on some of that, romance stuff, some of the stuff that I don't know as much about, and just learn a little bit, sell some of the stuff, and keep some for my PC.
No, definitely. That sounded like an excellent collection. Hey, real quick question. Let's answer this quickly because I'm curious too. What was the best book of the lot you bought from that?
So obviously, I there might be, some big score with the Golden Age stuff. I don't think so. It doesn't seem like there's any like Matt Baker covers or anything like that. I'm still going through it, but the biggest book in the collection was at least I believe was a Batman 227 that I got, which is that homage cover, the Neil Adams with Batman in the background and the
dope, yeah.
Gotham Manor or whatever it's called. I don't think it's Wayne Manor. I think it's called Gotham Manor on the cover, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Batman 227 was the most expensive book, and they knew what they had. They actually, when I got it, by the time they got over there, like there was a sticker price of $600 on that book. So I did not get this stuff, super cheap. I was able to bundle it together and get a fair price for it. But yeah, really cool collection that I picked up.
Josh,
playing Batman 227. Well, I have 2 of them now. And one will be for sale at some point in the near future. Gothos Manor. That's it. You're right. Gothos Manor, not Gotham Manor.
And I got to say, I don't think I've seen this name before, but thanks for joining us. Reef the Sea Forever.
Reef's been here before.
Then I'm an asshole for not noticing. I apologize. Hello. If y'all haven't been here before, please like and subscribe to the channel. Moving on. We love this guy. We love him. Raising Elm. We love him. And look at this. Howdy, comic fan. I'm beyond thrilled to share this with you all. Several weeks ago on my birthday, my wonderful, amazing, beautiful wife surprised me with my very own lightsaber. I spent some time checking out different providers, comparing custom sabers to replica sabers, and finally settled on a replica of Luke Skywalker's saber from Return of the Jedi, courtesy of Neo Saber. The stunning piece came with all the bells and whistles, and it sends a rush of adrenaline through your hands and arms when you flip that ignition switch. Damn, it's awesome. Additionally, I've wanted this issue of Star Wars issue 35 since it was released a few months ago, but I waited patiently, got a high grade copy for about $18. The significance of this issue, besides the awesome Phil Noto cover, is that the issue gives us the origin of Luke's green lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. I'm so blessed and fortunate to have a wife that not only loves and supports me through this life's challenges, but a wife that supports my passions and hobbies. I love you, babe. Rand Irene 83. Much love to y'all too, comic fam. And here's another photo. Oh, I should have done the first one. Anyways, I like how
I love this. Yeah, when I saw that.
So well. So
very cool.
Great work right there. Raising Elm fam. Really appreciate that big time. All right, we got Mark Ledecker. Here he is. It's the creepy season. So here's creepy number 1, 1964 from Warren Publications. Horror comic magazine filled much of the void left by the Comics Code Authority. Classic yellow cover by illustrator and cartoonist Jack Davis featuring Uncle Creepy. Stellar lineup of interior artwork by Reed Crandall, Frank Frazetta, Al Williams, Joe Orlando, and Gary Morrow. Another great book that Mark Leonard-Kerr shared with us, and we appreciate that he did. Moving on, we got Goonish Lurker. I had to give this book a shout for a couple of reasons. One, let me show you guys too, by the way. I have to give the book I love this book, by the way. Book a shout for a couple of reasons. One, I love 80s action movies. Two, I love to support creators. This is the unofficial comic adaptation of the 1986 Sylvester Stallone classic Cobra by Evil Genius Artworks. I was excited to get one of these copies, and it did not disappoint. This is only book one, so get your copy while you can and support this skilled artist. His page is great, and I'm excited for book two. Love it. I love this submission. I'm going to do my last fresh get of the week. We got 2 more submissions from the audience, so just may as well get this in. This is the book I'm excited to read because it's like rebooting, but creating a brand new universe. Is Transformers #1 under the Skybound Image publications. First of all, what a great Optimus Prime cover.
Yeah.
I've been in... it's not a spoiler anymore. Void Rivals was a surprise connection to the Energon universe, which has Transformers in it. So these new property by Robert Kirkman, Void Rivals, is part of this universe of Transformers and soon to be G.I. Joe. So I'm excited that we're rebooting all of this from IDW. I'm excited to read this book. I loved Transformers. That's all I had to say about that. Moving on. We have Comic Demon, right? Yeah, we did Goonish Lurker. Time out. Oh, no. You did not forget to... Oh, you son of a bee. Hold on. I'm angry at my computer right now. So, Joe, stretch. Talk about something fun.
I'm going to talk about something fun while the screen is just your face. Hold on. Let me switch it to me. Okay, wait. Here we go. Okay. Hey, it's me now. Oh, my camera's fuzzy. Hold on. Let me fix that by doing this really slowly.
Magic.
That made it worse. That made it actually way worse. So I'm just going to talk about how bad that is. Let me put my hand real close.
Listen.
Slowly move it back. Look at how fuzzy I am now.
This show's a disaster. I apologize.
No. I think I'm coming back in. Nope, not coming back in.
All right, how about this? We'll work on that, but I want to bring this up here because this is a new audience member who is submitting for the first time as well. Scruffy Comics 69. I got this from the local comic shop in my neighborhood. It's not really a comic book. It's a sticker book from the UK, but it has my favorite character on it, the one and only Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk. Growing up, I loved watching him play the Hulk, and that's why I got into Marvel Comics. I love these movies, watching him battle Thor and team up with Daredevil. It was the best. Rest in peace, Bill Bixby. I have to say, everybody, I really have to say, I love those 2 movies too, those made-for-television movies. They're probably awful, but I thought they were the best thing I've ever seen because, again, I was thirsting for any sort of type of content like this on TV or even in theaters. So, yeah, good work there. Scruffy Comics 69. Next up, we have Comic Demon. There we go. Getting things posted for another past new comic book day. Grabs for the Comic Horde. Gargoyles was a cartoon I watched when it came out. It was pretty dark for Disney, so it fit with the cartoons I liked in the early 90s. I haven't gotten to read the new season of Gargoyles. I figured once I get enough, I can go back and read like a trade. That's a cool cover. I don't know who that character is. I've never collected Gargoyles. I did watch Gargoyles as well. I thought it was a fun show. And I think they're trying to make a live action film. I don't know. It's hard for me to keep up with this. And finally, it's a family affair. That's right. The son of Nori Jordan is actually Venom Fan 777. And we have another first submission right here on Fresh from the Comic Shop. That's right. Again, Venom Fan 777. Hello to anyone happening upon my post. After occasionally assisting my father, otherwise known as Nori Jordan, with his Fresh from the Comic Shop submission, I've since decided to take my first try at making my own. As I'm sure my screen name would probably already imply, Venom is my current favorite Marvel character, so I figured, what better way to submit my first Fresh from the Comic Shop submission than my recently acquired Venom issue number 25 variant cover. Without spoiling anything that isn't already established leading up to this issue, Venom and Dr. Doom engage in a desperate struggle for control over Doom's time machine. All the while, in the midst of their battle, events are set into motion that further intervene and or will perhaps come back to complicate Eddie Brock and his son Dylan's more personal conflict with the malevolent yet cunning force of Meridius. Hence the inclusion of my Dr. Doom figure in this display. In any case, I'm glad to be able to work on this to participate in recent Fresh from the Comic Shop submissions, and hopefully anyone who sees it enjoys it. I enjoy it. I think it's fantastic what you've done here. Love this first submission. And again, thank you for submitting. That right there concludes the submissions from Fresh from the Comic Shop. Normally, we would have our guest co-host deciding on the fate of all of these submissions right here, but that's up to Joe and I. And I have. Do you want to talk about it now, or do you need a moment?
I've got my notes here. I've been running the algorithm the entire show.
Yeah, you're good with that.
You know me. I'm just running the algorithm. Very good with that. There's quite a few that stuck out to me. Let me just start off with saying.
Time out. I got 3 as well, but go ahead.
What do you want me to go, or do you want to go?
I'm sorry, I interrupted. I'm just
listen, man. We can just shut down the show right now.
You're right.
Just kidding. No, oh my Jeff, come back. Oh, poor guy. Yeah. So I mean,
Dan De La Torre is available. He said.
Okay. All right. Well, if we need you, we will let you know, Dan. Let's see if we can agree on something. Is Raising Elm eligible anymore?
Yes.
Is he eligible?
Yes,
he is
Raising
eligible.
Elm is eligible.
So that lightsaber, love the shot, love the handoff here. It's great that it's tied to a book.
Yep.
That, is specifically the origin of getting that new green saber after, losing his hand in Cloud City. And yeah, I mean, it's got this like heart-tugging family connection because his wife got him the saber for his birthday. Definitely a well-composed shot. Very unique considering this is a custom saber.
Yep, that's a great point. Yeah. Actually, I didn't consider that fact, but this is one of mine as well.
Even though that's not the book that is unique, it's still uniqueness. I'll count it.
I agree.
So that definitely checks all the boxes. Give me one of yours now.
One of mine. Again, Scruffy Comics 69. I love this submission. It, maybe it's, it just brings me back, but like, I absolutely love this submission right here. So, it's very old school. It's not a comic book, but it's not something we've seen before. And again, Lou Ferrigno he was a powerhouse, literally and figuratively. So, yeah.
Yeah, that I wrote that one down as well. That was on my notes.
Oh, interesting.
Love that one. And yeah, I recently bought a collection like 2 months ago, and in the back, behind the board of one of the books that was in the collection was a Polaroid of the guy who I bought it from with Lou Ferrigno.
Oh wow!
It was signed by Ferrigno, so I had to drove over and dropped it off to. Actually, I don't think I did yet, but I have it put aside for him.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be good to do that. By the way, it's your second one. It's time for your second one. I don't know.
Yeah. So my second one, Venom fan. I thought that was a great post because it's got this family connection here. We've got a longtime viewer and very active participant of the show, Nori Jordan. And this is his kid. This is awesome that the next generation is into this stuff. And we certainly have a well-composed shot here with not just the Venom background, but also I think those are toys off to the side, Venom and Doom and the book featuring both those characters. I mean, this definitely, with the addition of the toys makes it a little bit unique. Well-composed shot. And definitely tugs at the heartstrings there. That's I know this is gonna be a tough week.
This is definitely a tough week.
Did you have any more? Or are those your 3?
I already all 3.
I do have one more. I actually had 4.
I literally that was one of mine as well. So 2 of ours overlap.
Okay. So we're down to at least 2. I do want to just shout out my fourth because I thought.
Well, no, this is your third one, isn't it?
It's my third, but it's the fourth one that we've mentioned. Yeah,
that's fine. No,
yeah, just it's EMart with the Batman, and mostly because of I call this when anything is at this like angled from above or angled from below view. Yeah. I always call that the Neil Adams vantage point because he used that a ton, and he was one of the first artists to really like use it a lot and use it really well. Especially on the covers of those early Batmans that he was doing with Denny O'Neil and right at the beginning of the Bronze Age. Just it reminds me of that, and the fact that it's on a Batman book and it's like that, it tied together really well. So definitely want to give a shout out to that one.
That's a good call on that, by the way.
Yeah. It's kind of
very, very good call. I never would have thought of that, but now that you say it, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it right here on the big screen. Okay, so we have two that overlap that we're going to need to decide. Those two are Venom Fan 777 and where is it? Raising Elm. I know what way I lean.
I do as well.
And this is definitely a tough week, but I can't. It's so good. And for me, should we say it?
1, 2.
Wait, time out. We always mess this up. 1, 2.
No, hold on. We don't always mess this up, Jeff.
I'm hoping I get away with
always mess this up.
It's 1, 2, 3, then go.
It's just 1, 2, 3. Say it. Okay.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Raising Elm.
Okay.
Congratulations, Raising Elm. You are moving on to the semifinals of October to potentially win this gorgeous book right here, which is Berserker #1 with that customized label, the comic book from Spider Dude Comics, and the customized slab from EGS. So congratulations again. You are moving on to the semifinals. And by the way,
I just want to say, as far as Raising Elm got the win this week, but that is Scruffy and Venom fans' first submission, and they were mentioned in a potential winner for the week. So huge shout out to them. Keep submitting, and I definitely think if you utilize those skills again, you got a big chance.
I do also want to say that Danny and Tessa, who are the winners from September, that was the first submission from them as well.
Oh, cool.
So again, by the way, Dan De La Torre was going to pick that, so it was unanimous. What? That means I don't have to go. Oh, well done, sir. He would kick my ass. He's a black belt. All right. So, anyways, thank you all for joining us and allowing me to be a little bit fried. Not quite myself right now. I'm still recovering from a long ass week of work. Joe, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. I'm being honest and sincere. I know a lot of the times I'm very sarcastic, but I truly appreciate this guy. We laugh a lot on the phone, not necessarily just about comic books. We're going to watch an Eagles game at some point this season together. We should definitely do that. So I just want to take time. I don't think I've acknowledged you in the proper way. That's what I want to say about that. I love the audience. You're the reason we do this. If it wasn't for you all, I don't think we do it as much. Well, maybe we would be hanging out online like this, you, me, and Chris. But again, thank you all for taking the time to spend with us. We know time is the most precious commodity we all have, and spending time with you is really, we honor it, we cherish it, and we truly appreciate it. Joe, any final words to say before we close out the show? Oh, I have one. We will have a guest next week. Not sure who it is yet, but we have a lot of cool new guests coming up that will have to go through that interview process. Go ahead, Jeff.
True. Yeah. Like Jeff said, this is super fun for us, and you make it that way. If we didn't have the interaction, if we didn't have the Ask Joes pop up every week, if we didn't have the submissions, this wouldn't be much of a show. It would be me and Jeff making fun of each other for 15 minutes and then turning it off. It's an okay show, but it wouldn't be entertaining for many people other than you and me. So yeah, thank you all for coming here every week. Love it. yeah, stay tuned. Come back next week with some New York ComicCon news.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get some cool announcements that we're going to want to talk about. Go see Loki if you haven't yet. We'll definitely discuss that next week when Chris is back. And that's it from me.
That's it for us then. Again, subscribe, and maybe even share with your friends if you'd like. Until next week, please be good to yourself and be good to others. Peace.